Hey, we are here. We are here. We are here.
Yes, we are. And it's nice to be back after not being here last week. We missed not being here last week.
Exactly.
Um, Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
Friendsgiving. Hope everybody had a wonderful, nice
Well,
Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving day, vacation break, and um, just enjoyed your family, your friends,
mhm.
just being together.
Wow. Well, we got, as you can see in the background, we have a new background. We are someplace in the couple's bat cave, someplace in the world. We are here
Yeah.
streaming this live, and we can't tell you because then we'd have to. Anyway, you know the whole saying. Okay. So, who are we and what are we doing here?
Well, I am Sharon Nazare,
Mm-hmm.
and you are Craig or Imar, and
Mm-hmm.
we are taking the journey together.
Exactly,
a-
exactly. How do you
As
like that?
I like that, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And the journey has been great. It's been um, a push forward. Every day is a push forward. Realize how much is involved in just being close to someone that you care about, that you love, that you enjoy being close to, but there's still obstacles and things in the way sometimes. And
What kind of
and some
obstacles would be in the way of doing that?
well, sometimes it's you.
Me,
Well, not you, but yourself,
me, myself, and I.
or me, myself, and I.
Remember that song called "Me, Myself, and I"?
Not really.
You don't remember the song called "Me, Myself, and I"?
No.
Yeah, there was a song. I think it was a hip hop song called "Me, Myself, and I."
Oh, De La Soul.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
I don't
yes.
think that was the name of it, but I know the one you're talking
What
about.
was it, De
Yeah,
La
it could have
Soul?
been. No, De La Soul was the group.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Mm,
and it could be. It might have been me, myself, and I. Yeah.
okay. Well, when it comes talking about closeness, I didn't hear a word you said. I'm too. I
So
mean,
I
I got to
guess we're
run the
not.
show at the
So I
same
guess we're
time.
not taking part in communication closeness right now.
That would be one of them. We found out that there's 12 types of closeness, and that most people are stuck on which closeness?
Sexual closeness.
Oh, yes, that's sexual healing.
Yes, it's
That's
good
what we
enough.
usually get stuck on
Yeah,
when it comes to closeness. We go no further than that. Am I right?
you're right.
We didn't think there is no more further than that, right?
You're right. That's the best, the be all end all, as they say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what we say about that. And
Yes.
what a shame too that we usually get locked down into that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Mm.
is. It's not a good thing to do because there's so much more to be vested into in a relationship than just the sexual aspect.
So, what are the other closest that we talked about? For those who've been following us, you know what they are. For those who have not been following us, then this will be the first time you get a chance to basically, how can I say it? Know a
Ex-
little bit more about it.
Find out.
And find out exactly,
Yes. Okay.
exactly.
Well, we have emotional closeness
Mm-hmm.
and intellectual,
Mm-hmm.
aesthetic closeness,
Mm-hmm.
which is enjoying the beauty around you.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty around you.
Ah, not the booty, but the beauty.
Maybe it's a beauty booty.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's it goes back to the. See how quickly the mind
Exactly.
goes back to the first closest,
Right.
the sexual one. We
It's
just can't.
always
It's
lurking
just
in the
talk about
background.
sex, baby. Let's. I mean, remember that stupid. I mean, excuse me, that song. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Some people out there may like that song, so I won't say that. But
Yeah.
anyway, that seems about the biggest question. So, what's the
Mhm.
other one?
There's creative closeness,
Mm-hmm.
recreational closeness, which we have
Mm-hmm.
been enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
Last week we really enjoyed recreational closeness.
What did we do for Thanksgiving that was a recreational one?
Well, for Thanksgiving, first of all, we went and had dinner with some friends,
Mm-hmm.
and then we took off for Jacksonville, and we went to the Melanin Market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's
And
the well in the market in Jacksonville?
the Melanin Market in Jacksonville, it's like a pop up. vendor site, but it's not pop-up because they plan it, long before. And it's all Black vendors. And they're in on this one stretch of street called A. Philip Randolph Boulevard. And they have all different kinds of vendors: food vendors, arts and crafts vendors, vendors that deal with hair care, and all kinds of things like that, just to name a few. And so we go down there to support the vendors, and especially the fact that it's Black vendors, and so we support black entrepreneurs.
But what
But
else do we also?
also-
Oh, go ahead. I know you want to say that. I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and do this technical stuff while you run the show.
Okay.
Okay.
But also, we do it so that we can attempt to get vendors for our event on River Street every third weekend from March through December.
And have got some vendors from the
Yes, we
past
have. Yes,
from
we
that
have.
Beautiful show.
Mhm.
Wish we can keep them longer, but maybe this year we might be able to do that.
Yes. Now that things are kind of getting back to normal, and
what was some of the vendors we saw? What were some of the things they did?
there was one lady that did greeting cards. She had made greeting cards. There was, of course, some food vendors. There was, oh gosh, let me think. There was a some candle vendors and some soap vendors, and there were some that were authors. There were like 3 authors there. 2 that were children's books, and 1 that was a comic book. We had people who made bags, purses and things of that sort. There's beard.
Oh yeah, that one guy that was doing the beard stuff.
There was a cigar vendor. Just all a variety.
Oh yes, it was.
Variety.
Hey, what about that one that had some young African American kids who were doing something to do with NASA?
That was an author.
Oh, that was an author.
That was an author.
What were they writing?
It was a children's book. And they were dressed like that because the book that she was pushing, the kids went to the moon, I think it was.
To the moon and back, baby.
And they had a picture of all of them kind of standing there, remember?
Yeah, and so the 2 little girls, they were the main characters, and so they were dressed in the outfits, these like astronaut outfits, and they had their hair fixed the way they are in the book and stuff. It was real cute the way she had it done. Yeah, I was really fascinated with that one.
Oh yeah, I happened to see it on the side from the end. I just didn't have I got Please Kick New feature on Facebook. I'm just looking at it.
Oh, but you're talking out loud, so I thought.
Yeah, well, it's something that they do. They can click on Facebook and allows them to send stars that helps support the platform. Hey, yeah, go to Facebook, click on the stars to help support our particular network. Yeah, so do that.
Yes, our
Something
Black
enjoy
media.
it. Exactly.
That's our network.
Ooh, my arm is hurting. I'm sorry about that. It kind of hurt right in here. Oh yeah. Too much work doing being as young as I am. I love that shirt, that colorful shirt you got on. That looks so nice. Yeah, I hope some other was look at that nice, beautiful shirt. So besides doing that, which was enjoyable, we went to the seafood market.
Yes.
And enjoy the seafood market. I mean, what was that seafood market called?
It's Safe Harbor Seafood Market.
All kinds of seafood, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, you talking about the food you see the food.
Yes.
There was all kinds of seafood. I mean, every kind of fish you can think of, they're pulling out of the ocean.
Yes.
There.
And it's fresh.
Definitely fresh. Definitely fresh.
Yes.
And then they have some of the soups that were very delicious. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we also went over across the road to the Safe Harbor restaurant.
So why do people like to chicken cross the road?
To get some fish.
On the other side.
Yeah.
What was that marketplace one we went to?
What market?
The one the place the restaurant we went to.
Safe Harbor restaurant. Yeah.
It's
connected to the seafood restaurant.
Yeah. If you ever go to Florida, if you guys ever go to Florida, and you got to go to Jacksonville, right on the edge of Jacksonville, near what's the name of the city?
Mayport.
You've got to go to that restaurant. It is absolutely the first time we went there, though we've seen it many times. It is very authentic, seafood authentic. It has shrimp boats outside. We found out talking to one of the brothers who was there that they have black shrimpers that still go out on the boat to pick up shrimp that sell at that particular seafood restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was very enjoyable. The food for its price was what?
Oh, it was
Worthless.
amazing.
No, not worthless.
It was
I'm sorry.
worth it.
Worth it. I'm
Yes.
sorry if
Yes.
anyone's listening that's from that restaurant. I apologize.
It
It is definitely worth
the
it.
food was so good.
Oh, it was. Oh, it was absolutely
Yeah,
delicious.
I got this. I think it was a blackened grouper, blackened mango grouper, or something like that, and it had diced mango, and it was almost like a salsa that was over it, and it was blackened. It was just amazing.
Oh, it was absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious.
And the prices are not bad either. The prices are very comparable.
Very comfortable. Very comfortable. Oh, I say comfortable.
Both.
And then we stopped at two oceans, didn't we?
Beaches.
2 beaches.
Yes.
Yeah. What beaches?
We went first, and they were both. We went to Atlantic Beach.
Yes.
And then on the way home, we stopped at American Beach, which is a historical black beach, created during a time when black people were not allowed to go on the beach.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And that's one of our favorite places. Every time we're in Fernandina Beach, we go down to
We try to
American
make sure
Beach.
we do.
Yes.
We always try to make sure we stop
Yes.
there again because it is definitely very, very beautiful down there. Talk about beautiful things. But outside the weather, thank you very much. the weather being, oh gosh. The weather was actually beautiful too. Not so
Yes,
much
it
on the
was.
beach.
Well,
but
even on the beach, it wasn't bad.
bad.
It was kind of gray and hazy and foggy, but the temperature and all was not bad.
The salt in the air seems to have a way to clear out your nostrils, to clear out your lungs, and gives you like a cleaning effect, like saline solution from that end. And it was very beautiful. We walked it a little bit and did our block talk, which is a walk talk, which is the one that we do. It comes out on our website too, that you can see down below on. No, let me give it to you right here down below. Go to this particular website.
PTJT at takingthejourney-together.com.
Yeah, you can go see our blog talk. So we did a blog talk. It was about
walk
talk. I'll get it one easy one. What was it? What was it about?
Oh my gosh, we talked. What was it about?
Don't remember.
I don't either. But it was very spontaneous.
Refreshing.
Yes.
It's about refreshing. How sometimes in life you have to refresh things. And many times in our relationships, like with a fast, you may have to refresh your relationship. Like what we're doing, I'm coming to think of it, a lot of our relationships talking that we do, it is all about trying to refresh things in our relationship.
Right.
Like for instance, sharing when it comes to preaching and what?
I preach better than I practice.
Yes.
I'm not as consistent as I should be with the practices of these principles. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they are so new to me in all of my experience. Just because you get it wrong the first time doesn't mean you have to get it right, get it wrong every time.
Exactly.
So
so sometimes when you get it wrong, you can get it wrong again and again and again.
Yes.
Until it starts hurting you.
Yeah.
And you go, hey, let me stop.
Yeah. let me get this.
There's an old saying. I was talking to young man today. I was helping work on his RV today. He got a big Class A RV, monocle RV, looks very, very good. And I was talking about how sometimes there's an old saying that teachers teach, but they don't what? They can't do. And they said that's why teachers are teaching, because many times they really can't do what they teach. Right. And basically the whole conversation was about teaching has a skill to it, but that skill of teaching doesn't mean that doing as a skill comes behind it.
Right.
But there's a lot of people who can do things. I know I being in the trade skill, working as an electrician with my uncle since I was 14, 16 years old, being around plumbers and carpenters, many of them knowing the times I talk with them, if I did any kind of talk that had to do with, hey, can you teach me or can you do a class? They look at me like, excuse me, get back to work.
Yeah.
So and it wasn't a case of them being gatekeepers, even though I know some of them were gatekeepers, but many of the ones who did act like gatekeepers because they couldn't teach
Yeah.
the skill.
Yeah.
They knew
They
their skill
knew
very well, but they
exactly.
could not at all
Exactly.
teach that skill. So you got a lot of people on the other side who can teach something, but they're not necessarily have the ability to be able to do the balance thing in life. The healthy thing in life is, can you practice what you preach?
Yes.
Can you do that which you
Yes.
believe?
Yes.
And that's a balanced life. That's
Right.
a life that takes a higher energy,
Or
which is
better
all
than
about that.
Are you practicing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for us to understand through this clearing that we're talking about. Is Are you, can you, and would you? You can.
Yes.
Closeness in a relationship. The 12 different closeness we're talking about. They help you practice what you preach.
Yes.
If you're with someone that you care about and you love deeply and you really believe it, then inside you're going to want to start being close.
Exactly.
Outside of the wanting that you get on the sexual side, or the emotion side where you're boom, 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 fighting all the time, or the intellectual side where I have some great on and all that stuff. Anywhere it goes,
you're spoken
exactly.
Yes.
Anywhere it goes, it has to do with the fact that you're trying to get close.
Mm-hmm.
Getting close could be another period in your relationship, balanced relationship, where it's all about you doing a refreshing.
Right.
Where before you two were trying to be close, before you only practice on sex, before you were talking about emotion side, fighting all the time, and you never had a chat. Go ahead.
Or you come together just to be apart.
Exactly. One step forward, two steps backwards.
Yeah.
So you're trying to now to do something refreshing. The refreshing this kind is, I'm going to try to use closeness, one of these steps of closeness, to bring that relationship together. And it might go through cycles.
Yeah.
It really might go cycles. You want to try to work in your relationship from a thriving, balanced relationship in such a way where your cycles you go through are not that many downs.
Right.
And not that many ups.
Yeah. And not that long of a period between the ups and downs.
Yeah, or you have them low downs and little peak ups.
Yeah, which is definitely not good. Definitely not.
Life is about cycles. Life is about seasons. We're writing that play about it. We're still looking for someone to help us out.
Yes.
If you're a playwright, if you know anything about some venue, staging, please get in touch with us.
If you're an actor who, preferably actress, who knows other actresses and dancers and whatnot, TTJT at takingthejourney-together.com.
Yes, definitely want to do that. It's a conscious play, so it's a play all about you getting to know you, and we getting to know you in a conscious way from the inside. So closeness is a new element or a new foundation that you can look at on the refresh relationship. There's no doubt about it. Many people are in relationships where they're not even close with the mate.
Right.
That mate is doing their thing. You're doing your thing. And then somehow you figure we're getting along. Yeah. And you're really not. No. You're not talking with each other. You may not have no real affection with one another. You're totally separate from one another. And it may be time to refresh that relationship.
Yes. Bring it back together.
Exactly. And use this element of closeness. Yeah. You got all these areas that we're going through, from work closeness, recreational closeness, conflict, yes, and conflicts in relationship. It brings closeness together. And then, of course, we're going to be getting into spiritual closeness, communication closeness, and financial closeness. All those things you could use as a way to refresh your relationship and bring back to your relationship, or bring for the first time in a relationship where you feel like, I'm really close to this person. This person is really my friend. And they feel they want to be friends with you too at the same time. What do you think about that?
I think that is definitely where people drop the ball a lot of times. A lot of times we take for granted that we're okay in our relationships and that everything is good as is.
Hunky-dory's, they say.
Yeah. So why do I need to go that extra mile? But you need to go that extra mile to...
What's my old coin saying? You don't take all that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it does. It does. And it's
for some to take all that even more.
Yes, which is one of the things that I'm constantly learning. Because I can get really wrapped up in the busyness
your
around
job, your professional job.
Exactly.
Because you do have a professional job that's an honorable job too at the same time. So you can be caught up in. And the kids that you're dealing with, oh, I've been around those knuckleheads. You certainly can, and they love you to death too.
Yeah.
So
And-
that
and-
kind of
and
that's
that's the thing.
intoxicating.
And that's
Very
the thing.
intoxicating.
The love that I have for them
Mm-hmm.
is so strong that sometimes it's draining.
Exactly.
You
You've
know,
got nothing
and
to
so-
bring home to me.
Yeah, you know, and like today,
Mhm.
it's all
Mhm.
I could do. I feel like I was tired anyway because of the week that we've had,
Mhm.
but there was a series of things that happened today
Mhm.
that just stripped me of all of my energy.
Mhm.
And so I've been in the process of trying to rebuild that energy so that I could have something for you.
This is a good example too, before we go to a commercial. This is a real life situation that you were referring to. And we just talked about how closeness can refresh.
Mhm.
This is a refreshing period that you have to admit
Yeah.
that you're looking for something refreshing.
Mhm.
And at the time, the relationship needs something refreshing. What closeness could be used as an example to bring that refreshing? Yeah, I'm gonna throw it at you.
All
What
right.
what closeness?
So right now we're doing communication closeness.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is helping me to get rejuvenated.
Mhm.
You know, and not on the sexual side, but on the on the
Mhm.
I don't know what
Inspirational.
thank you.
Inspirational.
Yes.
Yeah.
A hug that
Give me a hug.
rejuvenates.
Give me a hug.
Yeah.
Do we have that up there? Emotional side.
closeness.
Yeah. That would be on the emotional
Yeah.
closeness side. But there's, I guess what you're saying. The point is, even through what we do,
Mhm.
it brings closeness to us. We
Yes.
always feel better when we do the show.
Definitely.
We feel better when we get done with the show.
Mhm.
Sometimes tested right after it too.
Yeah.
But that is that inspirational closeness that a relationship
Mhm.
needs to feel that we are supposed to be together.
Yes.
Remember talking about bridge statements before,
Mhm.
that this is something the spirit, the angels,
Put
the
us
ancestor
together.
God are
We are
supposed
meant
to
to
be
be
together.
together.
Exactly.
Yes.
Inspiration closeness does that. That's
Yes.
that part they call spiritual closeness.
Emotional
We'll talk
closeness.
about. We're also spiritual
Spiritual
closeness.
closeness too.
Remember,
but
spiritual
yes.
closeness. We'll be talking about has something
Yeah.
to do with purposes in life,
Mhm.
meaning in life.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship, you feel like you don't have a meaning or
Mhm.
purpose in that life, you're not going to want to be close.
Right.
You don't want them to be close to you either
Exactly.
at the same time.
Exactly. It's like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah. How in that matter, since we just brought that out, how in that matter do you see when it comes to refreshing relationships and using closeness as the tool? How can we, how can I say it, present it in such a way where it becomes a very important tool, using the principle of heart is open and transparent, important tool, because you find many times when conflicts are going on in a relationship, the last thing you want to do, and right now I'm being a Kanye West advocate.
Oh, please don't. Please don't.
A yay advocate.
Please don't.
You find most of the time you don't want to get close.
Yes.
You don't want to see them.
Yes.
You don't want them touched.
Mhm.
You don't want to touch them.
Right.
You don't want to touch them either. I said that right. I said it 3 times, by the way. I think I was emphasizing it's being correct.
You don't want to touch
because sometimes that's how I feel about with you. I don't want to
Yes.
touch you. I don't
Yes.
want you near.
Yes.
Like go on some other place.
Yes.
From that end. And that's usually the outcome that actually happens
Mhm.
when the conflict and people are not feeling
Yeah.
closest. That very thing that happens drives you apart. And the last thing you want to think about is what?
Coming together.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is refresh and go, oh, I want to get
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. No.
No. You're like, nah,
No. It's like
I ain't even thinking about it.
it's like, do you know what a wall is?
Mm-hmm.
Find yourself on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
And the wall could be like sometimes you do, which is into your own self.
Oh, yeah.
You stop saying things.
Yeah.
You don't talk for a long time. Not real long.
I don't not talk.
No.
And see, that's the other thing. I don't hold a grudge long.
No, in the morning you usually you do that day clean thing in the morning. You wake up like nothing happened before. I'm like, what the hell? Really? But yeah,
and
you
even
do that.
even if it's like
Mhm.
early in the day,
Mhm.
I cannot hold a grudge more than an hour.
I couldn't tell. Well, you're at work most of the time, so I couldn't
Yeah,
tell.
I can't do that. It's like okay, time to move on.
Mhm.
Now that doesn't mean the hurt doesn't go away
Mm-hmm.
or the pain doesn't go away,
I
but
don't
the
forget
anger,
that.
but the anger is gone.
Huh? Mm-hmm.
You know,
Just seething inside,
yeah, because when my
bubbling, bubbling.
no, because when my feelings get hurt, my feelings are like they're like glass. They just crumble.
Yeah, sometimes you're too
I'm very fragile.
fragile.
I'm very fragile,
Too fragile.
and that's
Too
just
fragile.
that's yeah.
And too fragile. Yeah, that has everything to do with the fact that what of the closeness is not something that you practice. When you get closer in that relationship to someone that in turn is a lot more strong in that relationship, you help excuse me, they help to strengthen up in those areas that you're weak in.
Yeah.
That's that portion that we talked about. Conflict closeness, where you find out where your weak points are. You find out where those areas of your difference that through that struggle, you use it what?
You use it to I'm sorry, my mind went someplace
I
else
know.
because
I said that.
no, this is what happened when you said that about too fragile.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about this child I was dealing with today who said,
not
I don't
boots.
no, she's gone,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay.
Who said, I don't like to cry because I don't want people to see I'm vulnerable. And that's that that block that keeps people from being strong,
That's
even in their fragility.
Traditionally, that's a female response when it comes to crying when there's emotion. Sadly to say that females many times have lost that part about being open and allow that kind of softness. And
there's a lot
and well, hold on,
okay,
you know that.
Yeah.
And if in through that period there was a time where they wanted to see males to open up and be emotional, which really didn't happen, because then they say if you do that you're more of a sissy, you're more of a no man, and boys shouldn't cry at night, and all the other stuff are weak. But yet that's not something that even women who traditionally were taken on that role of their spirit, of who they are and how their makeup was. Then you have to ask at the end, are you ready for this? Who is going to be emotional in a relationship?
Right.
Who is going to show real vulnerability? Who is going to show empathy? And remember, we talked about empathy was the very reason why taxation in the relationship exists.
Yes.
Because no one really had empathy for one another, real care for one another. And that's why you see when that kind of role mix up, or I don't want to show that whatsoever, you have both people are toxic and show no empathy to one another whatsoever.
No compassion, no care.
No, like, no, I don't really care what you feel.
Yeah.
I don't care what you feel. And ultimately many relationships through domestic abuse have each other beat each other to death, or have shot the other person, or the other person shot them because they had no real care for one another.
Which is an extreme, but having that lack of care is an extreme too. But those are not those relationships that get to that point. They have not been thriving in a long time, if ever. So yeah, that's not the ideal.
No,
not the ideal at all.
No, it's not the idea. I forgot we're talking about closeness. I put it there. Still closeness part 4. Part 4. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me put that up there. I thought I put it up there.
I thought you did too.
I thought I did. I will put it up there now. How's that? Part 4.
Yes.
Well, I hope you guys are enjoying. If you got any questions, please, we don't like to talk over your head, or we don't like to talk under to at the same time. If you got some questions, you got things on your mind, just remember we have I keep forgetting it. No. We have the sheepskin, the paperwork for what?
We are relationship
coaches. Coaches, yes. And someone was telling us, when you get on the air, you need to start mentioning to people that you have a relationship coaches, that you are that, and start, giving all your stuff away free, from the standpoint of not letting people know what you're part of, why your belief, why your passion is so strong in this area, and that you at least had some things that make sense to say. And some of you have heard this, know that we have some things that make sense to say, and have, take it to your own self and have made some use of it at the same time. But we love to talk with you even personally when it comes to your goals, when it comes to where you want to go, what you want to be in your relationship. You can get a hold of us again right here. That's down below. Come to think of it, please Go down there and take a look at it.
at
Mhm. Yeah.
takingthejourney-together.com.
Some of you or some of us might be having a problem in closeness, really being closeness. And as you can see through our authenticity, it's not like there is a corner on the market for closeness, as if we have the corner on the market. Closeness in the relationship has everything to do with how authentic can you and will you be in that relationship? How authentic. It might be that in a relationship, sometimes you don't cuss that other particular person out because you know you had it inside you in the first place. It might be the authenticity may be that you wanted to give them a big hug and never did it, but this time you're just going to give them a big hug and they feel embarrassed as could be. But that's authentically how you feel, and this is what you want to do, and that person will just have to take it. We are talking about that. That's what this taking the journey together relationship is all about. People being authentic with one another, close friends with one another, getting to that place where it's that way. And so if you watch us and you see us, know that we have flaws. Know that we're all not perfect. Know that there is no such thing as perfect, that we're just trying to create balance so that you can move and take your relationship together and make it an adventure. Hey, what do you think about that? Hey, am I pretty good? Did I say it pretty good?
I think you said it excellently.
All right.
Just wonderfully.
Why don't we go to a commercial?
I think it is commercial time.
All right, here we go. Wow. Hey, talk about those two commercials.
Yeah, I love those two commercials, especially the last one. The music in the last one, it just makes you want to watch it.
Oh yeah, it's not bad. Hope we can get some more people that will start sponsoring our program. If you want to sponsor Taking the Journey Together here on this very, very unique, cutting edge network is what we think, which is why we're here. Please get a hold of our Black Network. You can always send information again to us, and we'll be glad to pass it on. On that note, you can go to Roku and go to your dashboard, and you can go through the process of looking up
our Black Media.
Exactly, and download that platform, and then look for us where?
On Community.
Yes, on Community. Yeah, we're there. Love to have you go there. We moved on up to now a bigger league, if you may want to say. Yeah. What's another place can they find us?
They can find us on Saturday mornings on WRUU. It's a radio show. What is it, 107.5? 107.5. You can go to our Facebook and get a
What's that?
I don't know why. I just had like this brain fart. Just it
Mhm.
was just like, okay, I'm done.
Mhm.
On our Facebook page and get the link for it. Saturday mornings at 9 a.m.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's it.
Mhm. You stick a fork in it and she done.
Done.
Done deal, boy. We're back on closeness.
Yes.
Closeness. What did we
Yes.
stop at when we were talking
We
about
were
closeness?
talking about commitment closeness,
Okay.
working together toward a common goal. Gold?
Mm-hmm.
Goal derived.
Ghoul. A common ghoul.
I cannot talk today.
Mm-hmm.
Derived from common self-interest. It is a mutual commitment
Mm-hmm.
to shared goals, values, or working together towards something important.
Something,
And you know, one of the things.
etc. I'm
One of
glad
the
you're
things.
excited about talking today.
This is me trying to
Chug through it because we're both tired.
we're both tired,
Exactly.
and then the experience that I had today is just
You kept it to yourself. I wonder what it is.
I'll
Tell me about
I'll talk to you about it later.
Mm-hmm. I wish it wasn't exciting. That's what
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I can tell.
It was very draining. It was my ESP came into play with it, and it was not good.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Well, I'll be glad to have us have our own personal communication.
Yes.
Offline, so that we can talk about it. That's
Absolutely.
part of closeness.
Communication closeness.
Yeah. Sometimes that communication or closest we have doesn't mean it's always going to be good news.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's always going to be happy news. But you sometimes, when that happens, it doesn't mean that you have to take it personally.
Right.
Because it may not be at all for you to take personally.
No.
There's something else for someone else to take it personally.
Right.
And that would be the person who's listening to it,
Mm-hmm.
because you want them to personally know that you care about them.
Yeah.
So,
but you also have to be careful
mm-hmm.
that when you're dealing with communication closeness, and
Mm-hmm.
it is something that is emotional,
Mm-hmm.
that you don't find yourself dumping on the other person.
Yeah, that's kind of hard
and
too.
sometimes that's a fine line.
It is.
So like when I do talk to you about this today, I'm going to have to edit a lot of it so that it's not dumping. Okay. Try to give an overview, and hopefully that will help me get some of this off of me.
Okay.
And that'll be enough.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's good to hear. Good to hear.
So,
what kind of closest would that be, by the way?
What be?
When there are things that are really on your mind, something happened at work, something happened in the family, and you want this person to get close, but at the same time, you don't want to get too close because they might take it too personal. And you don't want them to take it too personal because it might be too personal. Or could it ever be too personal? Or does it depend upon how you deliver it?
If you're in a relationship together, it should not be too personal. It should not ever be too personal if you're being hot. I don't think. Mm-hmm. But it may be some extenuating circumstances that you don't want to deal with at that time. Say, for example, if it's something that's going to trigger ill feelings for the other person, or memories that are not good ones that they don't want to deal with, then you have to be empathetic in that at that time, and say to yourself, I'm gonna share, but I'm not going to go that deep into detail.
Well, I'm so sorry, man. I just I had a micro sleep real quick.
I know.
Oh my God, can you breathe? I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that when we got so many things on the table, and that happens like that from that end. But no, I wasn't really sleeping on you. I was trying my best to listen to you. Wow.
That happens sometimes.
I mean, when you're not telling me things in detail, kind of like goes over your head.
Exactly, and that's what I'm doing at this point. But I'm just trying to let everybody know that you can't
be a good listener all the time.
Exactly, practice being a good listener.
Just sometimes fake it until you make it.
And don't do the micro sleep.
I know. Oh my God, I do that sometimes when I'm driving. Isn't that worst?
Oh yeah.
I know you drove with me before, and you see me do a little bit of micro sleep.
It's happened to me too, and it's scary to me.
Yeah.
And
it's a bad habit of mine.
Yeah, it is.
They have cars now. We're talking about they have
Mhm.
cars that will, if you're moving off the road outside, they have the other kind of divots in the road that you can
Mhm.
hear your tires
Yeah.
just to wake you up. They have cars that actually will shake your sheet, shake your
Seat.
seat. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It will shake your seat if it
Okay,
happens.
so we're really trying to move. Technology is really trying to move cars towards the George Jetson era.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what's so funny? There's a car that was made in some place. I think it was in Chicago or Orlando. I can't remember. And it was off the street called Crenshaw, if I remember. And this
That
car,
was
if you're in
early
it,
LA.
yeah, in this car, when you get in it and you happen to be driving and you're going down, you're cruising, and you've been up at 1 or 2 in the morning and you're tired as can be. You did some things with your friends or your boys, and you're like, oh my God, this is too tired. I can't deal with this. And you're almost asleep. All I know is that they have this little pocket in there. It's a special pocket they made, and all of a sudden you almost fall asleep. Hand comes out, slaps. It slaps the
I was
shit
waiting
out
on
of you.
it. I knew something was coming. I just knew it. I knew it. I was waiting
slaps you, and you wake up. Oh,
for the duration.
exactly. You're awake. Your buddy beside you. What?
And then why'd you hit me like
I
that?
know it. How you like that one?
I
That woke you up.
Yeah, it did. It did. But
Woke
did
me
it
up
wake
too.
you up?
Yeah, it did. Because I'm looking at it, imagining in my mind. It's called the B slap switch.
There you go.
It's automatic too. It's been automated.
It's a sensor.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll keep you awake.
Motion sensor.
That'll keep you awake.
Yeah, if you don't move long enough, it automatically senses the lack of movement.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, but goodness, what fun that was. Hey, we still have that hot button. I don't know what's that. We sure would like to try to get some more people to try to pick up that hot button.
Yes.
That honest, open, and transparent. Like it's so important in your relationship you have. It's an easy way to get close in your relationship when you use the honest, open, and transparency.
And you know
it's
what?
Part of life.
You know what we're going to do?
What's that?
If someone chooses to get a session of relationship coaching, not only will they get one free session, but they'll get hot buttons.
Wow. Someone just said you can get a free, where's my finger? There you go. There it is right here. A free session.
Coaching.
I'm looking at you. Free coaching, relationship session. If you in turn are inclined to see that there's a need, and you also get a what?
You get free hot buttons.
Yes. So people know that you had a chance to hear and learn and get inspiration when it comes to you moving on in your relationship together as a journey. You have a button to be able to wear it proudly, very proudly. And don't worry. Your car won't have that accessory in there, that B switch that would keep you awake from that.
No.
Oh, no. Some of us need to be slapped in our relationship to wake ourselves up.
Yes.
We're just walking like zombies in a relationship.
We're
not paying to each other in a relationship whatsoever. We take each other for granted, and we go, oh, okay, no wonder why I don't want to be here.
Exactly. We take each other for granted. And sometimes we want to drop granite on each other.
Exactly. Take that bat up, take that. What does that used to say?
The job.
And shove it. No.
It was.
No, the other one, attitude adjustment.
Yes.
Take a bat and a ball and give you an attitude adjustment.
You need an attitude adjustment.
Exactly. Closeness is a good way to take an attitude adjustment where you feel better. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Today, with all the pressures, Christmas coming, many of us are in a relationship. We're not feeling good about each other.
No.
If we were being real, we are not. You are not, and you know that you're not feeling good in your relationship.
Just too much.
Stress
and tension. Year ending. Just a whole lot of stuff. Anniversaries of situations that don't bode well, that are not leading to good memories coming up, and you get a lot of that when you're centered around holidays. But at this time of year, you have multiple holidays rolled into one. You have 3 major holidays in less than a month and a half.
Exactly.
And so and that just puts you on this
Funk
this
attitude.
exactly, you know,
You ain't
and
feeling
that's
good. You ain't feeling happy like everybody else. In
right.
fact, the guy I was talking to was to me today, helping him out with his RV. He was talking about having some problems with the past with his relationships and with his kids. And I was telling him how, I haven't seen my son for years, by the way. I mean, for years, I haven't seen my son. He's good in what he's trying to do. He's a 5-star chef. He also, at the same time, does beats things with young people. But we can't talk. We don't relate. He really doesn't want to reach across the table. And the way that communication is mature, that relationship is actually moving close.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to him how frustrating it is. He was talking about how frustrated it is, and I could tell by the passion of his voice how frustrated it is, and how he felt. I did as much as I could to reach across the aisle, but yet they just won't. Or in this case, my child won't. And I did the same thing with my young son, about 30 years old. And I just say, as I said to him, that if you did all you can do, then that's all you can do. The rest is to them. They're going to have to be able to forgive you. But first, they're going to have to be able to forgive themselves. Why? Because many times they may have felt that's why my mother and my dad fell apart, is because it's something to do with me. And it wasn't you. So you have to, forgive them. Also, to the next one is the, how can I say it? The turmoil they have inside. At one end, I'm supposed to love this dad, but inside I hate him because I feel he also caused this problem and could have did some things too. And so therefore you got that conflict in how do I forgive myself?
Yeah.
And I told him how at my father's relationship on my father's funeral, who passed away years ago, because my father wasn't in my life for years and years. And I went to the funeral, and his mother and all the 9 boys, maybe 12 boys, because they were a big family, and all the kids and all the baby mamas that were part of that. They didn't want me to come speak because I was a very outgoing a person, go figure, out person. And they were like, man, I know if he tries to feel like he can speak truth to power in this big family, because on my dad's side, they were a very big family. They were really afraid that I was going to say something that didn't really would work well during this time of grief, and all that good stuff. And so I kind of reassured them that I'm just going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak what I feel, and I just hope it won't be bad. So they allowed me to speak, and I remember I spoke. In fact, I got to send that to this young man. I remember I spoke. And I'll just give you the statement, and maybe you can look it up yourself someplace. But I spoke on this thing that was, how do you forgive your father? How do you forgive your father? And I gave this long poem about how you forgive your father. And I remember before it was over, we're talking about closeness.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the uncles. I remember the sons. I remember the daughters, because there were plenty of them, and other mothers that were long connected to all of these uncles, including my father, who had another relationship. And I remember most of them were in tears before it was all over, because a lot of them had experienced what I experienced, and they had a hard time wanting to feel moved to forgive their fathers. If you are able to forgive your father, you are able to forgive you. If you are able to forgive you because you did not cause that problem, then you are able to forgive your father. And that's what it took that day to release some of them to be able to forgive their father, whereas I was able to forgive my father too. That brings that closeness in that relationship. Yeah. It brings you close. It brings other people close. And closeness is what a relationship that's healthy is built on, is closeness.
Yes. And from that standpoint, that's falling under spiritual closeness. And one of the things that I remember reading the other day in spiritual closeness is when you are needing to make a change, and you're needing to be close to that person, and it's not happening. One of the things that you can do is simply in your meditations or whatever, ask for a miracle, and state what that miracle is that you need, and then, just give it over.
Wow, I like that. Ask for a miracle. And that has, excuse me, that has everything to do with, I can't do anything about this.
Yes.
I've tried all I could do, and I could not do anymore. Or I did all I can stand, and I can't stand anymore.
Or I'm
at your wit's end.
I'm at a brick wall as far as how to handle this. This is more. This is bigger than me. This this is something, as people say sometimes, it's above my pay grade.
Mhm.
It's above my knowledge
Mhm.
capacity at this time. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking for a miracle. Some people will say, I'm looking for. I'm giving it over to God.
yeah,
I'm giving this over.
Yeah.
I'm giving the spirit. I'm giving over the
Mhm.
ancestors because I can't deal with this
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And there
it's
are
too heavy for me.
exactly. Part of that idea and belief of closeness we're talking about on the spiritual side,
Mhm.
is around deeper meanings.
Yeah.
Some deeper meanings in life is life has to play itself out deeper
Mhm.
in order for you to get the meaning.
Exactly.
You can't get the meaning without life playing it out.
Mhm.
And you have to allow it to play out
Mhm.
for you to get the meaning. Or another word could be that hindsight is 2020 vision
Yeah.
from that end.
Yeah.
And many of us want to rush it. I mean, I even myself could be guilty of it. Want to rush things. Let's
Mhm.
get to it. I know
Yeah.
the answer. I did this before, so I know we could try this, and I know that it will work out that way.
And that therein lies another problem.
Mhm.
A lot of times we say, okay, I've come across this before,
Mhm.
and this is what I did. It worked then, it's going to work now. But you're dealing with different people.
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with a different set of
That
circumstances.
exactly.
You're dealing with someone who may not react the same way
Mm-hmm.
as the person before,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't bring the same things to the table.
Exactly. Wow. That is a lot to be said today, especially through these holidays coming up. I hope that the stuff that we're seeing, the information, the inspiration that we're seeing, is something that you could take with you, that you could add in your relationship. I just know that when it comes to relationships, they can be difficult and they can be uncomfortable, especially if you're operating at the level of a surviving relationship. But if you're fighting, or you want to, I don't want to say struggle, but if you want to fight for your relationship, or you want to strive for your relationship, or you want to move forward in your relationship, or you want to expand your relationship, then certainly taking the journey together is what you need to do. The inspirational knowledge and information that we're presenting, and even what we're trying to practice every day, is something that will bring you and move you forward in your relationship. And you'll have a much better comfortability of a adventure. It definitely won't be boring. That's one thing for sure, for that particular. But yet, the excitement that can come along with it. So we're not talking about drama stuff that happened in survival relationships. We're talking about exciting things and you getting to know more about one another. You are in places that you haven't been before. Yeah, building memories. These things happen when you are moving closer, using inspiration, using the hot principle, all for the sake of having a, how can I say it, a better, expanded, balanced relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you just said a mouthful.
I thought I did, but I was like, don't let me say it again. Because I'm not going to remember.
Come on. You can do it.
No.
I got faith in you.
You can do it, Nikki. No, I can't.
But as we close out today, we need to also mention financial closeness, because especially during this holiday time, when people are starting to buy gifts and things of that sort, finances become they can be a good thing or a bad thing, especially if one person wants to buy a lot of gifts and the other person doesn't want to, and especially, or if you want to buy gifts but the finances are not there, and it can cause tension if you're not on the same page like that.
Yeah, meaning that I feel that my relationship is based on how much I can buy for you. That's how I value my relationship. We're such a consumer orientated, materialistic.
Yes.
I heard that Black Friday was the blackest Friday that's ever been, because there's so many people bought a whole bunch of stuff. So our big businesses getting bigger, more profits, and we're spending more, but not much savings. I think it has everything to do with the drive-through advertisement gives the perception that you are somebody, you will be somebody. You are worth what you buy, the value and the material things that you have. Other than that, you ain't about anybody.
Yeah, and then the commercials show you that if you're anybody, you've got this. And then you
Mhm.
can't even be
Not
on
sure that.
social.
Okay.
No, I'm saying the commercials that are
Mhm.
on TV and on social media and stuff.
Mhm.
The way they grab you,
Mhm.
and then you can't be on social media without having 17,000 um, ads pop up
Mhm.
of things that you got to buy.
Yeah.
Things that are going to make such a difference in your life. But I'm not saying that you can't buy these things, but at
Yes,
least
you
have
are.
at
She
least
said no. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Save it. Don't buy it. No. Put it down. You've got about 4 or 5 chia pet heads already. Put it down.
which is still around.
I
It
know.
is so funny.
Now they got different kind of heads.
Yeah,
Used to be
been
dog cats. Now
yeah,
they got a whole bunch of other stuff.
excuse me. They've got chia trees
Yeah, I
and
know it.
all kinds
Oh,
of things.
Groot was on
Yes,
one of the
yes,
chia pet.
Chia Groot.
I could see him having that too.
Yeah,
But
yes,
come on,
yeah,
please. That
but
guy's a millionaire over it. I mean, his
it's
him and his whole family or her will be taken care of for the rest of life.
for
As long as people buy it.
generations.
Yeah.
Because when you take into consideration, those chia pets have been out already for 3-4 generations.
Mm-hmm.
They were out when we were small,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's when they came out, when we were
Mhm.
small children, and then our
And it was
children
done.
and our grandchildren.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're going to really
Yes.
have to go. Thank you. Happy holidays. Keep them happy. Don't
Oh.
forget about taking the journey together until next time.
Next week.
Next week. God
Yes.
bless and Ashe.
Ashe.
Like this. 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 Like this.